Guys, UFC 290 is upon us, and my partners at DraftKings are offering an incredible deal for all new customers who sign up using the promo code Sonnen. New customers, bet $5 on any of this weekend's fights, and you're going to receive $150 in bonus bets instantly. You can even use your bonus bets on DraftKings same fight parlays for a shot at an even bigger payout. Combine multiple bets together from the same fight, including number of rounds and the method of victory. Remember, DraftKings is the only place where you can bet same fight parlays. If sports betting is not yet available in your state, don't worry. You can still join in on all the fun with DraftKings Daily Fantasy, and DraftKings is offering huge UFC contests this weekend with massive cash prizes up for grabs. Click on the link below. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook. Guys, do it right now. Use the promo code Sonnen, and all new customers who bet just $5 on any wager are going to get $150 in bonus bets instantly. That's promo code Sonnen only at DraftKings. Bo Nickal stayed in State College. You guys know what I'm talking about? Bo Nickal went to Penn State University, which is in State College. And he becomes a professional fighter. And he starts training with the American Top Team. And he got some very special attention, specifically from George Masvidal. George Masvidal, who lives in Florida and attends the American Top Team. I'm just sharing that with you because a lot of the videos and the pictures that you see when Bo is at the Top Team and he's in Florida and he's training are very selective photos of days Bo's ordinary life. Bo still goes into the Penn State wrestling room. He still shakes hands and goes hard against David Taylor, just for example. He wrestles live goes and matches against Kyle Schneider, just for example. And we so many times do have a group of people that pay respect to wrestlers, to pay a respect to the ability to wrestle as it pertains to MMA. But there is always a misconception, including by the athletes, that the person that was once upon a time a better wrestler still gets to be today without sharpening that tool. I mean, I could name for you the greatest wrestlers on paper the sport has ever had. But then I could go back and I could look at any random fight that you asked me to, and you're not going to see them out-wrestle the opponent. Or if you do, not by much. You're not going to see very many takedowns anywhere. And it's not because they found another way, and it's not because of the defense, right? I mean, that's part of the narrative that I have heard. That people, even that didn't wrestle, can go and learn the defense. They can learn how to sprawl. I hear that, and that is a piece of it. I wouldn't tell you that you're wholly wrong. I would just share for you the part that you're missing is that fancy wrestler has forgotten how to do it. So when you have a guy like Bo Nickal, who wants to be known as complete, he wants to be known as well-rounded, but if push comes to shove, he's to take down any man standing across from him. Bo could actually do it because he's still in the room and he's still actually practicing taking those guys down. And when you look at fighters and you look at guys that don't reach their potential, or they come into the sport and then something happens and it just doesn't work out. Most of them don't have their head on their shoulders. Most of them, as the attention got bigger and the lights got brighter and the checks got larger and the arenas got fuller, most of them got distracted. And that's just a reality. And when you have somebody like Bo that chooses to stay in State College, Bo was married. Bo was settled down. I see pictures of Bo doing just about everything from social media. I don't see him at parties. I don't see an alcohol brand with him, just for example. I talked to Bo on a somewhat basis. He's never invited me to, hey, come out after the fight. His dad's never sent me a message that says, hey, we're going to be at the Hulu Theater. We got our own private booth. Why don't you? I mean, I'm just sharing for you. It's a little bit different. And you do have guys that are consummate competitors. And as much as you think this is right in front of you, I will tell you the first person to ever enter this sport and treat it like an actual athletic event was Randy Couture. And it was a big deal when Randy used to do that. It was a big deal that Randy would have trainers and he would have set training times and he would have an actual strategy and a plan. It was a big deal that Randy would eat right. That he'd be focused on what day am I going to rest, what day am I going to work on my groundwork. He would sit down with somebody, they'd have a notepad, they'd watch tapes and come up with game plans of his upcoming opponent. And that might all sound normal now, guys. There's a lot of guys that saw the success that Randy had and went incompetent, but there is different levels of professionalism. There is different levels of guys who are here on a pursuit. It's not all about money. It's not all about fame. It's about getting the matches and winning the matches that you've got. Bo's got a last-minute replacement here. And good for the replacement, right? What a stud. What a stud to step up. But I got to tell you, you got to make sure that you give that same credit to Bo. There are so many people that would not do that. They would not take on somebody that they weren't prepared for. They wouldn't take on somebody they don't have film of. They wouldn't take on somebody they're not familiar with. They wouldn't risk it all and put it all on the line. Or then you have somebody like Bo, who's got a wrestler's mindset. It would never cross Bo's head. Never would it even enter his head to turn down a match or say, that's not the style I want. He doesn't even know that he can. I'm not joking about that. In 2 or 3 years, once Bo starts to really learn this scumbag sport that we're in, all of a sudden, he might. He might, because then at least he would know that he doesn't even know right now. He doesn't even know that when his phone rings and they tell him a guy that's like a discussion. And I'll just share with you how refreshing it is, because something is going on at 185 pounds. Something massive is going on at 185 pounds. I do not believe Yuri Prochazka is stepping in as the #1 contender. I do not believe that Yuri Prochazka is going to be fighting Israel Adesanya. But I brought it to you publicly, and my phone has rang by very powerful people who are asking me to stop saying it. Why? And I've got a real good look at 185 right now. I don't hear Chimaev demanding the title shot. Paulo Costa used to be right there saying, I'll go through Chimaev to get myself to a title shot. Sean Strickland has very politely used the term title shot, but it wasn't in a demanding type fashion. Duplessis and Whitaker, you guys keep telling one another, is a #1 contenders match. But that is nothing more than scuttlebutt within our industry. It is literally you saying it to each other. Whitaker hasn't said it. Duplessis hasn't said it. Adesanya doesn't say, I'm taking on the winner. Dana hasn't said it. And I get where that fight, I understand why you guys keep saying that. I'm just trying to bring to your attention that nobody's actually told you that. Oh, and by the way, if that is the case and the information that we've given is true, which is Izzy will defend in August. August is next month. I just don't think that there's a time in recent history that you can tell me or show me a #1 contenders match that gets turned around in a month. That is just simply not the way that they do things. So if it's not that match, if I'm right, if I've discovered something here, if I have discovered that Duplessis and Whitaker is not a #1 contenders match, then who is? And I think it's the most interesting thing going on in our sport right now. I think it's the single greatest storyline. If Duplessis and Whitaker, regardless of who comes out on top and regardless of how they do it, if they are not going to be next for Izzy because it's just not enough time to turn it around, who is? And it's not a situation of we're going to find that out or we're going to figure it out. It's a situation of we know full aware we haven't revealed it yet. And I just think that's interesting. I do not believe it's going to be Prochazka. But I do believe as unlikely it is to be Yuri Prochazka, it's not going to be Prochazka, guys. As unlikely as that is, turning around the winner of Duplessis and Whitaker in 30 days is just as unlikely. Bringing Sean Strickland in, who's not ranked in the top 5 and just came off 1 win, I think is just as unlikely. You could do all of these things. I think they're all just as equally unlikely. Not letting Chimaev have a fight at 185 pounds and just putting him in. All of these things are possible. All of these things can be done. We swallowed it. We move right on with our day. But we're not in an argument of what is most likely or who deserves it the most. We're in a discussion of all these really unlikely topics, which one is coming out? I think it's a very peculiar situation. Why'd they call me? Why are they telling me not to say, not to open my mouth about Prochazka and Izzy? I don't think they're going to fight. I also don't think the winner of Duplessis and Whitaker is going to turn around and go against Adesanya in a month. That's true. I also don't think somebody out of the top 5 is going to get pulled in. I think that there is a plan. I think that the plan is known. I think it just hasn't been revealed to us. I also think it's the hottest story in all of MMA right now.